You felt it coming before it arrived. That pressure behind your eyes, that tightness in your throat, that warmth rising through your chest like a wave you cannot stop. And you tried. You always try. You looked up at the ceiling. You bit the inside of your cheek. You told yourself, not here, not now, not again. But it came anyway. The tears spilled over. In the meeting, at the dinner table, during the movie everyone else watched dry-eyed. In the middle of a conversation that wasn't even sad, just honest, just real. And afterward came the shame. The apology you didn't owe anyone. The explanation you felt forced to give. The quiet voice inside that whispered what you've heard 1,000 times. Why are you like this? Why can't you control yourself? What is wrong with you? You've been called too sensitive, too emotional, too much. You've watched others move through the same moments with dry eyes and steady voices, and you've wondered if something inside you is broken, if you're missing the armor everyone else seems to wear. But I need to tell you something no one has ever explained to you properly. The tears are not your weakness. They never were. They are evidence of something rare, something profound, something the world desperately needs but has forgotten how to value. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what that is. In 2015, Pixar released a film that changed how we understand emotions. It's called Inside Out. You've probably seen it, a story set inside the mind of an 11-year-old girl named Riley, where her emotions, joy, anger, fear, disgust, and sadness are characters navigating her inner world. But here's what most people miss about this film. For most of the story, Joy tries desperately to keep sadness away from Riley's memories. She draws a circle on the floor and tells sadness to stay inside it. She prevents sadness from touching anything important. She treats sadness like a problem to be contained. And everything falls apart. The more Joy suppresses sadness, the more Riley shuts down. She loses her ability to feel anything. She becomes hollow, disconnected, frozen. Then comes the moment that breaks me every time I watch it. Joy finally understands. She looks at a memory, a sad memory, and realizes something she never saw before. The sad moment was when Riley's parents came to comfort her. The sad moment was when love arrived. The sadness was never the enemy. The sadness was the invitation for connection. And in the film's climax, it's not Joy who saves Riley. It's sadness. Sadness sits with Riley, lets her feel what she's been running from, and Riley finally cries. She breaks down in her parents' arms and tells them the truth. She's struggling. She's hurting. She needs help. And in that moment of tears, not despite them, but because of them, her family reconnects. Riley is held. Riley is healed. The film's thesis is radical. Sadness is essential. Tears are functional. The ability to cry is not a malfunction. It's the mechanism by which we signal our need for love and finally receive it. If you cry easily, if you've spent your whole life trying to keep sadness in its circle, this film is trying to tell you something. Your tears are not the problem, your tears are the bridge. If this is already resonating with you, if you've never heard anyone explain your tears this way before, hit the like button right now. Not for me, for yourself. Because that simple action tells you, I'm allowed to feel this. I'm allowed to be seen. And if you believe that people who feel deeply deserve to be understood, not fixed, subscribe now. We're just getting started. Let me show you what this really looks like in daily life. Tell me if you recognize yourself. You tear up at commercials, not the sad ones, the touching ones. A father teaching his daughter to ride a bike. A grandmother seeing her grandchild for the first time. Something about witnessing tenderness cracks you open. You cry when other people cry. You watch someone else break down a stranger, a friend, a character in a film, and your eyes fill automatically. As if their pain is contagious. As if your body cannot tell the difference between their heart and yours. You cry when you're angry. This one makes you furious. You're trying to make a point, trying to stand your ground, and suddenly your voice cracks and your eyes betray you. And the person across from you thinks you're sad, when really, you're on fire inside. You cry when you feel seen. Someone says something unexpectedly kind. Someone notices something about you that you didn't think anyone noticed. And the tears come not from sadness, but from the shock of being witnessed. You cry at beauty, music, sunsets, the way light falls through trees in the late afternoon. Your chest tightens and your eyes sting and you think, why is this happening? It's just a song. It's just the sky. And sometimes you cry for no reason you can name. A wave rises through you without warning, without story, just feeling formless and vast, demanding release. People who don't experience this cannot understand it. They think you're performing. They think you're fragile. They think you need to toughen up or get it together. But you're not fragile. You're permeable. And that permeability, that openness to feeling is not a flaw in your design. It's the design itself. Right now, I want you to think of someone, that friend, that family member, the person who has watched you cry and never made you feel broken for it. Send them this video. Don't explain why, just send it. Because they need to know that what they gave you acceptance without judgment is one of the rarest gifts a person can offer. And maybe this video will help them understand themselves too. Let me tell you what's actually happening in your body when you cry. Dr. William Frey, a biochemist at the University of Minnesota, spent years studying human tears. He discovered something remarkable. Emotional tears are chemically different from the tears you produce when you chop onions or when dust gets in your eyes. Emotional tears contain stress hormones, cortisol, prolactin, adrenocorticotropic hormone. When you cry, you are literally releasing stress from your body. You're not losing control, you're regulating. Your tears are detoxification, a biological mechanism for returning to equilibrium. This is why you feel better after a good cry. It's not just emotional release, it's physiological cleansing. But there's more. Dr. Elaine Aron, a research psychologist, identified a trait she calls high sensitivity. Approximately 15 to 20% of the population possesses a nervous system that processes stimulation more deeply than others. These are the highly sensitive people. Their brains show more activity in regions associated with awareness, empathy, and emotional processing. They notice subtleties others miss. They feel impacts others don't register. They are wired, literally, neurologically, to experience the world more intensely. And yes, they cry more easily. Not because they're weaker, but because their nervous systems are more responsive. They're not broken radios picking up static. They're powerful receivers picking up signals others can't detect. In the film Good Will Hunting, there's a scene that has made millions cry. Will Hunting, a genius with deep trauma, sits with his therapist, Sean. Sean looks at him and repeats again and again, "It's not your fault." At first, Will deflects. He knows it's not his fault intellectually, but Sean keeps saying it. "It's not your fault." Over and over, until something breaks inside Will, until he collapses into Sean's arms, sobbing. Watch that scene again. Watch the moment Will's defenses finally crumble. That's not weakness. That's a wall coming down. That's years of suppressed pain finally finding an exit. And the exit is tears. The body always knows what the mind tries to deny. And tears are the body's way of saying, this matters, this hurt, this needs to be witnessed. If you cry easily, your body is not malfunctioning, it's communicating. It's trying to save you. If you've ever wondered whether your sensitivity is a disorder, if you've ever Googled, "Why do I cry so easily?" hoping to find a cure, leave a comment right now. Tell me, "I thought I was broken." Just those words. Because when you scroll through the comments later and see hundreds of people who wrote the same thing, you'll finally understand you were never broken. You were never alone. And if this channel helps you see that, hit subscribe. We're building a space where feeling deeply isn't a diagnosis, it's an honor. So where does this sensitivity begin? Why do some people develop this depth of feeling while others learn to armor themselves? The answer lives in childhood. It always does. Some of you were born sensitive. Your nervous system arrived in this world finely tuned, highly reactive, picking up everything. But what happened next determined everything. Some sensitive children are met with attunement, parents who noticed their tears and responded with gentleness, caregivers who said, "It's okay to feel this, I'm here with you." These children learn that their sensitivity is acceptable, that their tears are safe, that feeling deeply is not dangerous. But many sensitive children receive a different message. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. You're overreacting. Don't be so sensitive. Big boys don't cry. You're embarrassing yourself. These children learn something devastating. Their emotional truth is unacceptable. Their tears are a problem to be solved. Their sensitivity is a burden that makes others uncomfortable. And so they try to stop. They try to harden. They bite their lips and swallow their sobs and push the feelings down. But sensitivity doesn't disappear when you shame it. It just goes underground. And it emerges later in adulthood in unexpected moments, in commercials and songs and conversations that shouldn't matter but somehow do. The tears you suppressed at 7 arrive at 37, and you don't know why you're crying at a car commercial. You're not crying at the commercial. You're crying at everything you never got to cry about before. In The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith plays Chris Gardner, a father facing homelessness while trying to build a better life for his son. There's a scene where Chris and his son are locked in a public bathroom for the night. They have nowhere else to go. Someone pounds on the door, and Chris, this strong, determined, unbreakable man, puts his foot against the door and cries silently. His son is asleep. No one can see him. And finally, alone in the dark, he lets himself feel the weight of what he's carrying. That scene destroys me, not because it's sad, but because it shows the truth. Even the strongest people carry tears they've never shown anyone. If you cry easily, maybe you're finally releasing what you've been holding for years. Maybe your tears aren't about this moment at all. Maybe they're about every moment you weren't allowed to feel. If something just stirred inside you, if you just connected a childhood memory to an adult tear, this is the video that's unlocking something in you. Like it. Seriously. That button is how the algorithm knows to show this to other people who need it. Other people who grew up being told their feelings were too much. You liking this video might be the reason someone else finally understands they're not broken. That's not a small thing. That's everything. Let's talk about what the world has told you about your tears. From the time you could understand language, you received messages about crying. Most of them were lies. You were told that crying is weakness, that strong people don't cry, that emotional control is a virtue, and emotional expression is a failure. You watched heroes in films who faced tragedy with stoic silence. You saw leaders praised for being unflappable. You absorbed the message that the goal is to feel nothing, or at least to appear as if you feel nothing. But this is cultural conditioning, not truth. Crying has been pathologized, especially for certain groups. Men are told that tears make them feminine, as if femininity is an insult. Women are told that tears make them hysterical, manipulative, unprofessional. Everyone learns, hide your tears if you want to be taken seriously. And so you learn to apologize for crying, to excuse yourself, to say, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm being like this, as if feeling deeply is a crime that requires explanation. But look at history. Look at what we actually admire when we're honest. The most powerful moments in human history involve tears. Leaders weeping for their people, artists channeling grief into work that moves us centuries later, activists whose tears fueled their fire. In Schindler's List, the final scene shows Oskar Schindler, a man who saved over 1,000 Jewish lives from the Holocaust, breaking down in tears. He looks at his car and weeps. I could have sold this. 10 more people. He looks at his pin. 2 more people. He collapses, sobbing, devastated by the lives he couldn't save. Is that weakness? Is that a man who needs to toughen up? No. That is a man whose tears reveal the depth of his humanity. A man who felt the weight of every life. A man whose crying was the evidence of his moral heroism. Your tears don't diminish you. They reveal you. They show that you are still open in a world that rewards closing down. And that openness, no matter what anyone told you, is not something to fix. It's something to protect. Here's what I need you to do right now. Think of the person who told you your tears were too much. The parent, the partner, the teacher, the friend who rolled their eyes. Now think about this. You're still here, still feeling, still open. They didn't succeed in closing you down. If that resilience means something to you, if you want to reclaim your tears as strength, not shame, share this video on your story. Let the world know where you stand. Let other sensitive souls find their way here. You survived. Help someone else survive too. Here's what happens when you spend your life suppressing tears. The emotions don't vanish, they calcify. What isn't expressed gets stored in your chest, in your shoulders, in the tension you carry without knowing why. The body keeps the score of every tear you swallowed. Research from psychologist James Pennebaker shows that emotional suppression correlates with increased physical illness. Suppressed grief weakens the immune system. Unfelt feelings create chronic inflammation. The tears you refuse to cry become the pain you cannot explain. But there's a deeper cost, a psychological one. When you suppress tears, you don't just block sadness, you block everything. The emotional system is one system. Numbing sadness numbs joy. Blocking grief blocks love. Refusing tears means refusing the full spectrum of being alive. This is why people who pride themselves on never crying often seem hollow, distant, unreachable. They've built such effective walls against pain that they've also walled out connection. In Manchester by the Sea, Casey Affleck plays Lee, a man who has sealed himself off from feeling. He moves through the world like a ghost, functional but absent. He cannot cry, even when he should, even when everyone around him is breaking down. His inability to release is not strength, it's imprisonment. There's a scene where his ex-wife, Randy, finds him on the street. She tries to apologize, she's sobbing, and Lee, who caused the tragedy that destroyed their family, cannot meet her tears with his own. He can barely speak. He walks away, not because he doesn't feel, but because he's feeling so much that one crack in the wall would destroy him. Lee survives, but he doesn't live, because living requires feeling, and feeling requires the release that only tears provide. If you cry easily, you are not in danger of becoming Lee. You have the opposite gift. You have access to your emotions. Painful as it is, that access keeps you alive. The ones who cannot cry are not stronger than you. They're more trapped. If you know someone who can't cry, someone who has shut down completely, send them this video. Not to fix them, but to offer a door. Maybe they won't walk through it today, but maybe this video plants a seed. Maybe in a month, in a year, they'll remember these words and finally let themselves feel. You can't force someone to open, but you can show them that opening is possible. Share this. It might be the door someone's been waiting for. Now let me tell you what your tears actually mean, what they say about you that you've never been told. People who cry easily are, according to research, higher in empathy. Your mirror neurons, the part of the brain that allows you to feel what others feel, are more active. When you cry at someone else's pain, you're not being dramatic. You're literally experiencing their experience. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between their hurt and yours. This is a gift, an exhausting, overwhelming, beautiful gift. It means you can sit with people in their darkness. It means you understand suffering without needing it explained. It means you offer presence that most people cannot give because they cannot feel deeply enough to give it. People who cry easily are also more creative. Research links emotional sensitivity with artistic ability. The same openness that lets feeling in, lets inspiration in, the same permeability that makes you cry at beauty lets you create beauty. You don't have a choice between being sensitive and being creative. They come from the same source. And people who cry easily form deeper connections, because vulnerability is the foundation of intimacy. When you let someone see your tears, you're offering trust. You're saying, this is the real me, undefended, open. And that invitation, that risk, creates bonds that guarded people never access. In Coco, the Pixar film about family and memory, the climax hinges on tears. Miguel must sing to his great-grandmother, Mama Coco, to help her remember her father before she dies. He sings "Remember Me," the song her father wrote for her. And slowly, Mama Coco awakens. She remembers. She sings along. And everyone in the room cries. Everyone watching the film cries. Not because it's sad, but because it's true. Because family and memory and love and loss are all tangled together, and the only appropriate response is tears. That response, that overflow, is not weakness, it's recognition. It's your soul acknowledging something sacred. And if you have that capacity, if beauty and love and loss can still crack you open, then you have something that cynicism and armor can never provide. You have a heart that still works. If you've made it this far in the video, if you're still here, still listening, maybe with tears forming right now, you're exactly who this channel is for. Subscribe, not because I'm asking, but because you deserve a place that speaks to the part of you the world has tried to silence. Every week, we explore the psychology of people who feel too much, love too hard, think too deeply. If that's you, if that's always been you, you've found your home. Welcome. So how do you live with this sensitivity? How do you honor your tears without being overwhelmed by them? First, stop apologizing. The next time tears come, resist the urge to explain. Resist the urge to say, sorry, or I don't know what's wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. You're feeling. That's what humans are supposed to do. If others are uncomfortable with your tears, that discomfort is theirs to manage, not yours. Second, create space for intentional release. If you suppress tears all day at work, in public, in situations where crying feels unsafe, give yourself private time to let them come. Watch the movie that always breaks you. Listen to the song that opens your chest. Write in a journal and let the words be messy and wet. Tears need an exit. If you don't give them a door, they'll find a window, and it won't be at a time you choose. Third, reframe the narrative. Every time the old voice says, "You're too sensitive," counter it with truth. I feel deeply. That's a capacity, not a flaw. My tears are release, not weakness. I would rather feel too much than feel nothing at all. You've spent years believing the lie. It takes time to learn the truth. But every reframe weakens the shame and strengthens your self-acceptance. Fourth, find your witnesses. Not everyone can hold your tears, but someone in your life can. Someone who doesn't flinch when you break down. Someone who hands you a tissue instead of advice. Someone who says, "I'm here," instead of "calm down." Find those people. Keep them close. They are rare and precious, and they will remind you that your sensitivity is safe when the world says otherwise. Fifth, remember what tears connect you to. You cry because you love, because you care, because you are moved by beauty and broken by injustice. The capacity to cry is the capacity to be fully alive, and the world needs people who are fully alive, not people who have numbed themselves into false strength. Your tears are not a problem to solve. They are a language to learn, and once you learn it, you'll find that they've been trying to guide you all along. If even one of these practices spoke to you, if you're already planning to try one tonight, comment, "I'm ready." Let me see how many of us are choosing to honor our tears instead of hide them. Let's build a community of people who refuse to apologize for feeling. And while you're in the comments, like a few other people's responses, let them know they're not alone. That's what we do here. We hold each other. I need to tell you something now. I cry, easily, constantly, at everything. I have cried at animated films meant for children. I have cried at songs I've heard 100 times. I have cried in the middle of conversations when someone said something unexpectedly true. I have left rooms because I felt the tears coming. I have apologized more times than I can count. I have wondered genuinely, painfully, if something was wrong with me. And for years, I tried to fix it. I tried to harden. I told myself that maturity meant control, that growth meant feeling less. I was wrong. The more I tried to suppress the tears, the more disconnected I became. From others, from my own creativity, from the aliveness that made life worth living. The armor I built didn't protect me, it imprisoned me. And the moment I stopped fighting my sensitivity, the moment I accepted that this is who I am, everything changed. Not externally. I still cry at commercials. I still tear up when I'm angry. I still break down at beauty that others walk past unaffected. But I stopped hating myself for it, and that made all the difference. If you cry easily, if you've carried shame about this your whole life, I need you to hear me. There is nothing wrong with you. There never was. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not too much. You are someone whose heart is still open in a world that tries to close everyone down. You are someone who feels the fullness of being human. You are someone whose tears are proof living, falling proof that you have not let the world harden you. That is not weakness. That is the deepest strength there is. So here's what I want you to remember. The tears you've been ashamed of are sacred. They are your body's way of saying, this matters, this touched me, this is real. Every tear you've cried was a message, from your heart to your eyes to the world, saying, I am still here, I am still feeling. I have not given up on being fully human. The world will keep telling you to toughen up, to grow thicker skin, to stop being so sensitive. But the world is wrong. We don't need more people who feel nothing. We need more people who feel everything. More people who cry at beauty, who weep for injustice, who break open when love arrives. We need you, exactly as you are, tears and all. So cry, let it come, stop fighting what your body already knows. The tears are not your weakness, they are your wisdom, they are your connection to everything that matters. And every time they fall, they're washing away the lie you've carried for too long, the lie that said feeling deeply was something to fix. It isn't. It never was. Your tears are the proof that you're still alive, still open, still willing to feel the weight and the wonder of being human. And that, no matter what anyone told you, is the bravest thing a person can be. If this video found you at the right moment, if something cracked open while you listened, I need you to do something. Tell me in the comments, what makes you cry? Not the obvious things, the unexpected things, the commercial, the song, the moment that shouldn't have broken you but did. Share it, without shame, without explanation, because when you read other people's answers, when you see that someone else cries at the same ridiculous things you do, you'll finally understand. You were never alone, you were never broken, you were just feeling in a world that forgot how. Now, I'm going to ask you something directly. If this video helped you, if you felt seen, if you felt understood, if something inside you exhaled for the first time in years, then we deserve your support. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because every video we make is for people exactly like you. The ones who feel too much, the ones who've been told they're too sensitive, the ones who spent their whole lives apologizing for having a heart that works. We make these videos because we believe sensitive people deserve a voice that speaks to them, not at them. And if you believe that too, subscribe. Don't scroll past this. Don't tell yourself you'll do it later. Do it now. Because people who feel like you do deserve a space that celebrates their depth. And every subscriber helps us reach more people who need to hear this. If someone in your life cries easily, if they've ever apologized to you for their tears, send them this video right now. Don't wait. Don't think about it. Just open your messages, find their name, and send. Let them hear what they've needed to hear their entire life. That their sensitivity is a gift they've been taught to see as a curse. You sharing this video might be the moment everything changes for someone. The moment they stop hating themselves for feeling. The moment they realize they're not alone. That's not a small thing. That's everything. Next week, we're going to talk about the psychology of people who feel like they don't belong, the ones who have never quite fit in anywhere, no matter how hard they tried. If that's you, you won't want to miss it. Subscribe now so you're here when it drops. Until then, let yourself cry. At the beautiful things, at the painful things, at the things that seem too small to matter but somehow do. Your tears know something you've been afraid to admit. They know that you're still capable of feeling everything. And in a world that has gone numb, That is the rarest and most precious thing you could be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for feeling. Thank you for staying open when the world told you to shut down. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. And I'll see you in the next one.